Welcome to Where There's a Wills, There's a Play. Month in review, January 2024. I'll be honest, I thought this was going to be up about a week ago, but I've had some struggles trying to do some formatting and really trying to get it how I want it on the site. So, since we are now on the 12th and I just wanted to get up, I did change a few things up here. Um, this is not going to be the final formatting eventually. I'm hoping. I'm hoping to do something a little fancier on the Canva, but for now, let's just get this done. Month in review, January 2024. I had 64 plays, 36 different players, including people on BGA and at my board game club at school, 33 different games played. 16 of them were new to me. I played 28 different days. I had a BGA plays of 11 and I had an H index of 4. These games were all new to me this month. Arnett, Cape May, Legacy of You, Tapestry, Skoentir, Azul, and Food Fighters were all on my showcase wall, which this month's theme was new to me games. Just one I learned on BGA along with Bandito and Regicide, and I actually learned Can't Stop on BGA, and then I was sent it from Eagle Griffin Games for my board game club. Haunt the House was learned for Board Game Club. Take It Easy was learned for Board Game Club. Can't Stop Express was on um, board game BGA. I played all these games at home, so lots of different games. Pick a Dog was also learned for Board Game Club, so that was a silly fun one. Kids really enjoy that one already. Um, these were all played at Board Game Club. Well, except for Orchard. I realized after I made this graphic that Orchard was just played at school. It wasn't actually during board game club, so these really were played at school. That was played during my lunch break one day. These were all played on BGA. After learning Lost Ruins of Arnak, I wanted to play it on BGA just once, just to as a two-player game. Tapestry, I wanted to play just to see if I was scoring the AI correctly, which I was, but it was a lot harder to do on my iPad. Just the iPad screen wasn't big enough, so I don't think that will probably be played on BGA anymore, unless it's on a bigger screen. What the kids are playing. This slide was supposed to be animated all the way down, but you can see for the month, they had 126 plays of 30 different games. Sorry, Skull King, Can't Stop, and Sushi Go Party were all tied at 10th with 5 plays. Can't Stop jumped up pretty quickly once we got it, and that was only like the last week and a half, maybe. And the last week of the month was actually conferences, so we didn't even have as many people showing up. Skull King, they're playing just mainly the trick taking part, but I'm trying to make the games a little simpler and more accessible to the kids and not worried so much about the bidding part. Operation and a version of the Game of Life, Your Way, both had 6 plays. Pick a Dog, Pick a Pig. I got a copy of both, so there's 2 copies. Quickly jumped up to 8 plays. Tetris at 10 plays. Jenga at 12. Hands, which I have 2 copies of, 13 plays. Monstrosity, which I have 2 copies of as well. Each with half of the Robots and Cute Creatures expansions in them, and Connect 4 with 2. And number 1 was Mousetrap with 19 plays. We had 5 weeks in the month, so it was a good month for board game plays. Showcase wall review. So my showcase wall every month showcases walls in a theme in hopes to get the games to the table a little bit more. This month was a New Year's game solution, not a resolution, but a game solution of new to me games. So all the games that were on the wall in January were new to me games. I realized after taking the picture that Food Fighters, for some reason, was not in the picture. That was also on the wall for the month. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to rank my games that were on my showcase wall every month. Usually I'll just rank the top 5 and I'll just quickly talk about the other ones. I might rank them all and then just talk about the top 5. Since there was only 7, I do have a little bit about each one of them. So coming in at number 7, Food Fighters. Food Fighters is from KTBG by Josh and Helena Capel. I had 2 plays of it at 2-player. BGG stats, player count 2, weight 1.23, playtime 20 to 30 minutes, ages 8 plus. Community says 6 plus. Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. Expansions available: Salty Faction, Sweet Factions, PB&J Faction, and Problem Picnic Faction. Food Fighters is a fun and light two-player battle game. Each player controls a team of foods trying to win a food fight against the opposing team. First player to knock out 3 matching foods from the other team wins. In the base game, you're playing vegetables against meats. Each vegetable is thinking of one of the other meats. There's 3 vegetables, 3 meats. You can only attack the one you're thinking of. You and your opponent each control a faction of fighting foods. On your turn, you can move a food fighter or roll dice to attack an opponent that your food fighter is thinking about, and that is in reach. Or roll beans, cash. After that, you can spend your beans to buy awesome gear from the store or power cards that are unique to your team. Then it's the other guy's turn. Keep going until you've knocked out 3 of a kind or your opponent's team on your opponent's team, and you've won. So you notice you can get some power-ups. The spoon works as a spear. The pan on his head, you'll notice, works as something to block a thought bubble so you can attack somebody you're not thinking about. And the cracker is used as a shield. So you can see the components of this. You can see each one of the cards is thinking of something else. So the other faction expansions just gives you other foods to play with. Number 6, Scoventir. Which, oopsie. Well, there's a spoiler for number 5. Not sure why that is there. Number 6, like I said, Scoventir. Gamli Erik, which is what people call the devil in Denmark in past centuries, is pursuing the badger Vogter, the embodiment of the soul of the forest. Help Vogter gather enough allies to defeat all the evil minions Gamli Erik has brought on this hunt. But beware, all of Vogter's potential allies have, as often described in Danish folktales, a dark connection to the devil, and recruiting an ally might have dire consequences. Each turn in Scoventir, you either play an ally to increase the strength of your party in order to defeat a minion, discard an ally to benefit from its special powers, or add an ally to your hand. Since this last action is paid by weakening your position on the board, managing how and when to pay the cost of your allies will be crucial. You must defeat all of Erik's minions before he catches Vogter. So you can see in this game, you have minions that you're trying to defeat. It takes 2 cards of the same to defeat this minion, 3 to defeat this, and 4 to defeat this. You have Vogter's moves. So each turn you get to do a move. You have the cards down here in the bottom right, which are the ones you can draw from. If you have Gamli Erik, he gets closer to you. You're moving clockwise around this forest. You're placing cards down that all need to be the same, except for this Formskiffer. I believe that's how you say it, which can mirror or mimic a different one. So you're trying to get cards played so that you can defeat the minions. This is not easy because when you play stuff or you draw stuff, you do have things that benefit Gamli Erik. Not an easy game. Number 5, as was already spoiled, Azul, Queen's Garden. When I was picking the top 7, number 1 and number 2 and number 6 and 7 were pretty clear to me. 3 through 5 were a little tougher. Then, as I really thought about it, I thought about Azul, and I love the original Azul. And Queen Garden is good, but it is a lot heavier, and there's a lot more going on. I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. So, by Next Move Games by Michael Kiesling, total plays 2 at 2-player. BGG stats, player count 2 to 4. Community says 2 to 4, best at 2. The weight 2.94, so rather heavy for an Azul game. Playtime 45 to 60 minutes. Ages 10 plus. Community also says 10 plus. Welcome back to the Palace of Sintra. King Manuel I has commissioned the best garden designers of Portugal to construct the most extraordinary gardens for his wife, Queen Maria of Aragon. In Azul Queen's Garden, players are tasked with arranging a magnificent garden for the king's lovely wife by arranging beautiful plants, trees, and ornamental features. Using an innovative drafting mechanism, the signature of the Azul series, players must carefully select colorful tiles to decorate their garden. Only the most incredible garden designers will flourish and win the Queen's blessing. So you can see the game here. Those of you familiar with Azul, you'll probably notice there's a lot more going on here. This board, this big square board, is your scoring board. It also has some stuff in the middle of it that says which items you're scoring that round, whether it's the color or the design on the tiles. You are collecting tiles as normal, but you don't have as many to collect right from the start. From the start, you have a pile and you have 4 tiles. You have to take either all of the same color or all of the same design. When you do, you move the new garden bed that you can also collect once it is revealed, and you put 4 new tiles. So the tiles come out very slowly in this game. It's not like you place a bunch out to begin with and you kind of have all the information. You have very little information in this game. Then, as the tiles, the garden tiles, get emptied of other tiles, then you get to reveal what's on those. And there's one place on there that has a spot on it that also counts as a tile. The other thing that makes this very different from regular Azul is you have to pay in order to play your tiles. If I'm playing a 1 tile, or the tile that has 1 symbol on it, it costs me 1. I just have to pay the one that I'm playing. If I'm playing the one that has 5, or that counts as number 5, you have to play that tile plus 4 more of the same color or the same symbol in order to actually play the tile onto your board. So you are really spending in order to play. It's a good game. I don't mind it. I don't mind the thinkiness. But when I want Azul, I still prefer the original, which is why this one ended up dropping down to number 5. It's, for me personally, even as someone who likes this thinkiness and kind of, I like doing it, I just think there's too much going on for an Azul type game. Number 4, Legacy of You. Garphill Games, Shem Phillips, total plays 3, BGG stats, player count 1, community 1, best 1. Weight 2.86, playtime 60 minutes, ages 12 plus, community 12 plus. It is a worker placement game where you're also managing your resources. And according to BGG, even though it's not the best system of complexity, this is actually easier than Azul Queen's Garden. I don't know. I think there's something wrong with a game like this being considered easier than an Azul game, or an Azul game being heavier than a game like this. So in Legacy of You, during the reign of Emperor Yao, the people of China, ancient China, were constantly plagued by deadly floods along the Yellow River. Eager to put an end to the devastation, Yao selected Gun, one of his officials, to devise a plan. After 9 years of failed attempts using dams and dikes, Gun's employment came to a questionable end. After his passing, Yu inherited his father's work. Learning from Gun's failures, Yu set out to construct a series of canals that direct the surging river into nearby fields and smaller waterways. Legacy of You is a solo-only, fully resettable, non-linear campaign game in which you step into the role of the legendary hero of the Zhai dynasty, Yu the Great. It will be your job to build the canals ahead of the impending flood, while also defending your growing village against neighboring barbarian tribes. With each game, stories will be shared and new gameplay elements added. The campaign features a self-balancing system, which adapts to how well you are doing. The campaign ends once you either win or lose 7 games. This game was fun. I enjoyed it. I like that after you win, you add something that makes it harder. After you lose, you add something that makes it easier. Lost my first two games pretty miserably. The first one to the Barbarians, second one to the Flood. Then I won the third one, I think. I'm not sure I did or if I did it right. So here's a little picture. You've got villagers on the top as well as barbarians. As you move the boat across and reveal canals, the flood will follow you at different times during the game. You can build different things to gain more abilities and to be able to gain more resources. But as you build your canals, more barbarians come out. It is a very, to me personally, complex being able to manage the canals, building the canals versus warding off the barbarians and using your resources in the right way at the right time. Um, I've seen some people say once you figure it out, you figure it out. I did not figure it out yet. I'll get it back to the table. One thing that dropped this below my number 3 was I just felt like even though I haven't figured it out, like I understand how to play. Like you play your resources, you get villagers to get different resources. You put the barbarians. I didn't figure there was a ton more to actually explore on it that I haven't explored other than figuring out how to win consistently on it. So like I understand the gameplay of it. So I think just because there didn't seem like there was a whole lot more for me to explore or understand as far as the gameplay part of it goes, that's why it dropped down to number 4 below my number 3, which brings me to my number 3, which was Tapestry. Tapestries from Stonemaier Games by Jamie Stegmaier. Total plays was 3, 2 solo, and 1 solo on BGA. BGG stats, community count or player count, 1 to 4. Community says 1 to 4. Player count, 1 to 5. Community says 1 to 4, but best at 3. Weight, 2.93. Playtime, 90 to 120 minutes. Ages 12 plus. The community agrees. Expansions available, plans, employees, arts and architecture, fantasies and futures. Tapestry is a 2-hour game for 1 to 5 players designed by Jamie Stegmaier. Create the civilization with the most storied history, starting at the beginning of humankind and reaching into the future. The paths you choose will vary greatly from real-world events or people. Your civilization is unique. In Tapestry, you start from nothing and advance on any of the 4 advancement tracks: science, technology, exploration, and military. To each progressively better benefits. To earn progressively better benefits. You can focus on a specific track or take a more balanced approach. You will also improve your income, build your capital city, leverage your asymmetric abilities, earn victory points, and gain tapestry cards that will tell the story of your civilization. So you can see you got these wonderful buildings that are really, really cool. Over on the right side, you've got your cities, your capital cities, which you put stuff on. You've got 4 different tracks you can go on. You can see 3 of them on the board. On the left, I believe, is the military. Then you've got the technology and the exploration. And the green one the box is sitting on is the science track. I felt like there was a lot more to explore this with all these civilizations and the different tracks. I really only dove into the science and the exploration track, a little bit on the technology. I really didn't do a whole lot on the military track, at least being proactive on it. Kind of did some stuff late in the second tabletop game I played of it, just to earn a couple benefits, but it wasn't really being proactive. I'd like to explore that a little more, like to explore the technology a little more. When I play games, I kind of get set in my ways though, so I got to really force myself to do something different. I did enjoy it enough though, so that I actually ordered the revised civ packs so that everything was up to date. And I do have plans employees on my shelf to be played. And I did get the custom play mat just to make setup a little quicker and easier. So I'm really excited to get this one to the table. It will be to the table sooner than later, thanks to my showcase walls. Brings me to number 2 for the month. And with those last two games, Tapestry and Legacy View, number two might actually surprise some people. I don't know if it's as big of a name game. So number two is Cape May. Cape May. Oh, and this slide doesn't seem to be in the right order either. Oh well, I'm still learning, still getting it all figured out. In Cape May, players traverse the city streets as entrepreneurs, developing property while building wealth over 4 seasons to earn prestige. Build cottages, develop them into Victorian homes, and upgrade them into historic landmarks. Establish shops and grow them into profitable businesses. Carefully move around the city and make strategic use of activity cards. Complete bonus goals. Then take some time to relax and spot wildlife in the best places for bird watching in the northeastern United States. Whoever best balances their income, development, movement, and personal goals will go down in history as the most successful developer of Cape May. Open, here's a map. It looks like my slide that had the stats may have gotten accidentally deleted. So I did play it 4 times. This is from Thunderworks Games by Eric Masso. And this is on the lighter scale. I believe it was like in the mid to low twos on the weight. 1 to 4 players. I played 4 times solo. There's a mini expansion you can get directly from Thunderworks Games. I enjoyed this game. This game was right up my alley. The Automa was, or the AI, whatever you want to call it, was very easy to run. I liked moving around the board and determining which sections, there's 4 sections, to build in, how quickly to upgrade my things so that I could get more money in different rounds, so that I could build bigger things and upgrade quicker at the end. It was a nice, calm game, nothing too stressful, very quick to play. So I really enjoyed this one, which I believe brings me to my number 1. Yes, my number 1 game of the month. There's only one left. Lost Ruins of Arnak. Yep, I slept on this game for a long time. I had heard how great this game was, looked into it, and very early in my solo board gaming time, and I don't know, something about the board and the look of the board and everything just it intimidated me. And I think why I finally decided to really look into it deeper, it was because my gaming has changed in the last year and a half. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to look into this. Part of it was also due to there being a realm for Rolling Realms. And I knew I was going to be putting in an order. And I was like, you know what? Let me look into this before I put in my order to see if I want this realm. I buy all the realms for base games that I own. And finally watched not just a how-to, but a full playthrough. And I'm like, you know what? That looks really fun. So Lost Ruins of Arnak is from CGE by Min and Elwin. Played it 4 times, 3 times solo, once 2-player game on BGA. Just wanted to explore a little more, make sure I was kind of doing everything right on my end. Player count 1 to 4, community 1 to 4, best at 3, weight 2.91. This was a pretty heavy month for me. I have found, despite how flawed the weight system is on BGG, that my sweet spot really is between 2 and 3. And as you notice from my games this month, there was a lot in the very high 2s pushing 3. So I think my gaming might be pushing a little bit higher on that weight scale, which is fine with me. I'm enjoying all the games that were higher on that weight scale. So I'm excited to see what else comes my way. Playtime 30 to 120 minutes. Ages 12 plus, community 10 plus. Expansions available. Expedition leaders, the missing expedition, the search for Professor Kudo, and several mini expansions. On an uninhabited island in uncharted seas, explorers have found traces of great civilization. Now you will lead an expedition to explore the island, find lost artifacts, and face fearsome guardians, all in a quest to learn the island's secrets. Lost Ruins of Arnak combines deck building and worker placement in a game of exploration, resource management, and discovery. In addition to traditional deck building effects, cards can also be used to place workers, and new worker actions become available as players explore the island. Some of these actions require resources instead of workers, so building a solid resource base will be essential. You are limited to only 1 action per turn, so make your choice carefully. What action will benefit you most now, And what can you afford to do later, assuming someone else doesn't take the action first? Decks are small, and randomness in the game is heavily mitigated by the wealth of tactical decisions offered on the game board. With a variety of worker actions, artifacts, and equipment cards, the setup for each game will be unique, encouraging players to explore new strategies to meet the challenge, discover the lost ruins of Arnak. So there's your board. It's a long board, tall board. You have all sorts of resources. You have on the right side of your board, you have your track where you are moving up your compass and your research book. Then you have all the places where you can place your workers, kind of on the left 2/3, and then you have cards you can collect on the top. I really like this game. It was fun. Even for its weight on BGG, it was very easy for me to run. I look forward to playing it a lot more, and also to play more on BGA with more players. I think it'd be really fun with more players. Well, that's all for January 2024's month in review. If you like this, like and subscribe, and you will get more content. My name's Ian, signing off. This is Where There's a Wills, There's a Play. Till next month.